White House has confirmed more details about the next summit for Donald Trump. This with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. In Moscow, our Chris Brown is on the story as it breaks. What do we know about what is ahead, Chris?
It was just a short statement issued at the same time today, Heather, from the Kremlin and the White House that confirmed the time and place, July 16th in Helsinki. It's really been a very good month already for Vladimir Putin. He has, of course, been hosting the world here in Moscow for the World Cup, so he'll take in the final championship game at Luzhniki Stadium on the 15th and then fly next door for his meeting with Donald Trump in Helsinki on the 16th. What will they talk about? Well, here's what Trump said yesterday.
I think we'll be talking about Syria. I think we'll be talking about Ukraine. I think we'll be talking about many other subjects, and we'll see what happens.
We know that relations between Russia and the U.S. are at their lowest point, even since during the Cold War. Yet we also know that the U.S. president himself is something of an outlier on some of the key issues that divide these countries. Let's take the issue of whether Russia should be readmitted to the G7. Donald Trump says yes, they should. He also seemed to suggest that because people in Crimea speak Russian, that Crimea should also become part of Russia, not part of the Ukraine. That's a big difference from the official U.S. policy. And he also says he believes Vladimir Putin when the Russian president tells him that Russia did not interfere in the U.S. presidential election of 2016, that in spite of the fact this huge investigation by Robert Mueller is ongoing. So exactly what Trump will say, it's really up in the air. But we do know he was after that all-important handshake with Kim Jong-un in Singapore last month at that historic meeting, and no doubt he'll get another similar handshake at this one.
Well, let's look at the Russian side of things. You have to think that the European Union Leaders Summit in Brussels is going to be a lot of discussion about this, Chris, because the traditional alliances with America and the EU leaders becoming frayed of late and getting closer to Vladimir Putin and to Russia. For Russia, what will be a win for Vladimir Putin in all of this?
I think he's already got a win just by getting the bilateral meeting. Russia likes to see itself, and Vladimir Putin really perpetuates this idea that Russia deserves to be given equal status in the world as the United States, as a nuclear superpower. So without giving up anything, he gets this one-on-one time with the U.S. president that internally reinforces that view. And also, don't forget, you mentioned the EU. Donald Trump's going to be meeting with his NATO colleagues just a couple of days before that. We know at the last G7 meeting that was in Quebec how things really went south. There was all kinds of acrimony between Trump and the leaders there. And we also know that Trump has also already sent out a number of sternly worded letters to his allies demanding they ante up more money for NATO. So you can expect this kind of a dynamic where you have another acrimonious meeting with Trump's allies and then going into smiling and handshakes the next day with Vladimir Putin.
We'll be talking about this much more in the days leading up to July the 16th. Thank you, Chris. Chris is in Moscow for us today.
All right.